And one more parameter which is going to measure the performance of a device is dynamic range. So dynamic range is the maximum input which the receiver can tolerate, divided by the minimum input level which it can detect. So what is the range, minimum to maximum your device can withstand? Maximum level it can withstand to the minimum input which it can detect. So two extreme cases we are relating by this term dynamic range. So this dynamic range has a different meaning in different applications. For example, in A to D converters, we call this dynamic range by a full scale reading. We find it in a different way. We say what is the total output which is produced when the device is switching to a full scale value. So that is the application, that is the definition you give for dynamic range at A to D converters. And in something they will, in some application they will say what is the input beyond which the device go to saturation. That is also dynamic range. So dynamic range is a very vastly meaningful term which has different interpretations and different applications. So in A to D converters, you call it as a full scale reading. In convention amplifiers, dynamic range is going to be the range after which the amplifier becomes non-linear or the amplifier enters saturation region. Okay, so in RF, the two definitions of dynamic range have been emerged. First one is the maximum tolerable desired signal power. The first definition, what we have seen, the same thing. The maximum power which your device can tolerate divided by the minimum power it can receive. So this will clearly say the bounds for your dynamic range. See, the maximum power is here and the minimum power is here. If you go below sensitivity, it is noise. So noise or the peak la minimum value will be there. Signal or the maximum value will be there. So this difference is going to be your dynamic range. And dynamic range is limited by one end, upper end saturation, lower end noise. So it is bounded by two parameters. Upper end, if the power goes beyond this maximum power, the device will become non-linear, right? So that is called as compression. The power will start reducing. And the lower end, if the sensitivity goes below the noise, then the device will have lot of noise. So dynamic range, it is first definition, it is bounded by two terms. Lower term will have a hand on noise, upper term will have a hand on the maximum power which is operated by the